All right, we are here today with Hina Ali, who is Mahek and Harris's mom, Harris's mom. Thanks so much for being in our class today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me over for the interview.
Yeah, and so okay, so you're a real estate agent, and your husband owns a gas station. So he's an entrepreneur, and you're a real estate agent, and you buy properties and all that stuff. Does it help you to be a real estate agent with investing in real estate? Because I don't have my real estate agent. I'm not a real estate agent, but I invest in properties anyway.
Yes, it helps a lot. And remember, real estate investing is a risk. It can be a very risky investment as well. If you're not looking at numbers, you're not doing your due diligence, and you really have to have numbers in front of you and opportunities coming right away to you in order to make better investment decisions. So being a realtor helps me a lot. And having a license makes you aware of the laws as well and your limits and liabilities. So it's
Right.
very
So as a real estate agent, like you see a rental property or you see a property go on the market on the MLS, and you're like, man, I want to take a look at it. You don't have to call a real estate agent because you are a real estate agent. You can just go and set up an appointment yourself directly through the MLS system, go get access to that property, maybe be the first one to see that property. So it gives you some advantages. Does it also put you in like a position where you're sort of somewhat of an expert as well? Like for me, I'm just a Joe average real estate investor, but you're an expert in this situation. So you kind of understand the laws. What kind of laws may help you as an agent that might hurt me that I don't know?
so in real estate, laws change almost I would say every 6 months.
Hmm.
So in order to be able to make good decisions, even for my clients, because I help my clients as well in their
Right.
investment, property purchases, as well as when they want to lease or, they want to sell or buy. Uh, so laws are so important that if you made a little bit of the mistake, the person who is sending the offer can actually lose it potentially. A couple of years, I would say about 6 months ago, the markets were different, and you had to be really on top of everything in order to help people, be it first-time buyers or the investors. So
How do you help? I mean, one of the tough things though right now is the interest rates are high. People are kind of losing their minds. They're like, and we understand historically they're pretty average, but like in the last 10 years they're crazy high. So let's say your first time buyer is coming to you and they're like, I want to buy a property, but they're like, I can't do it. The interest rates are too high. How do you overcome that because I mean, as a real estate agent, you're a salesperson to some degree. You're selling them on, hey, you should buy. Like, how do you overcome that objection?
so I would upfront look at their particular situation.
Yeah.
The builders at the moment, they are incentivizing, they are paying for points. It's there is a certain point where you can make an intelligent decision, to the point where you still have a positive cash flow.
Yeah.
And there was a couple more things that I wanted to point out. Depending so if it's a residential home, then on their property tax, they do get the homestead exemption. And if they are 65, they get another exemption. So we look at everything.
Yeah.
And there have been times where I have told no to a client, like, because it's not a good decision they may look nice on the papers at the moment,
Right.
but in the future it would not, depending on their loan product, because there are some loan products that can show you a smaller payment right now, but in year 3, year 4, year 5, you're going to pay a higher,
Right.
unless the interest rates actually come down.
Oh, the adjustable rate mortgages. Oh man. But it's got to be tough too for the first time buyer because you're competing with me. I'm a real estate investor, so I'm looking for the 322s in U list that are, under 220,000. There are corporations that are coming in and they're attempting to buy these properties, even sight unseen. I have a HELOC, so I can pay cash. And I don't have to give 30 days. I mean, I could be like, we'll buy you in a couple weeks. A corporation could do that too. It seems like it's just getting more and more oppressive on the first time buyer. Like it seems like they are really up against it right now. What do you advise to 23-year-old person that's looking for a house and trying to buy, and they're like getting outbid, and their interest rates are getting crazier, and they just feel like it's just a tough market.
I would again say, even before going out with a realtor looking at homes, the first thing is sit down with a very experienced mortgage lender. Yesterday, I had a client. He sat with my, a friend of mine who's a lender as well, and he introduced some of the loan products in which there is, if it's your first home,
Yeah.
there will be down payment assistance programs. And luckily he qualified for
Like
that.
how much? Like, does it, because normally we think 20%, but what is the down payment qualifying program? What is it? What's the incentive?
So the incentive is that they have to have a certain amount of money, still about, I would say, 20,000 in their account,
Okay.
some of which we were going to use toward bringing his credit scores a little bit up. He needs a house in 4 months, so we're going to spend next 30 days in bringing his credit scores up to the point where he just meets the magic number, where he
Oh,
qualifies for the down payment assistance, as well as he will have enough to like they have to put some money into the game.
right, right. And it's not like it was when I first moved here in 2002, where they were literally doing 103% loans. Like at closing, they would give me back $3,000. They'd be like, "Here you go." And I'm buying a property, like I didn't put anything into it. Maybe there were some closing costs and some things like that. The seller would be paying the closing costs sometimes. Like literally, I would walk away with a property with nothing into it. But talking with some mortgage brokers, there's some products now where it's like 5% down, 10% down. But having reserves, having money set aside to show the bank, hey, I have $15,000 sitting over here. It's in a Roth IRA. It's not going to be used on the down payment, or it could be, but it's just extra money that I have. But that comes back to like what we talk about in my class, where you've got to be, it's pretty simple how to invest. It's pretty simple, like stay out of debt, invest every single month, live within your means, like some very simple stuff. And talking with you prior to this, you guys have a third. Let me make sure I got this right. You take a third of you live on a third of what you make. So out of 100%, you live off of a third, you save a third for a rainy day, and you invest a third. That's got to be hard to live like that. How do you manage that? That is so impressive to be able to have that kind of control, because we're living in a world where on social media, everybody's going to Tahiti every week, and people are buying the new Land Rover and they're posting about it. And it's like, how do you live such a I don't know, like a basic life that's so I don't know, you have such restraint.
Yeah, we try to stretch the dollar. My husband and we don't just work 40 hours a week. On an average, what I've seen is we both work 70 plus hours a week.
Wow, 70 plus
And
hours a week. Oh
yes,
my goodness.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And the thing is that when we get time, we don't take very expensive vacations. We try to we have good vacations. We do
Yeah.
eat out. It's not that because after working all that, I cannot even cook at the house.
Right.
And so it's not that we don't enjoy our lives, but our eyes are mostly on the long-term goal, which is like we really want to retire, that we're not dependent on anybody other than what we've saved for ourselves.
Yeah.
Number one. And my husband and I, we have a goal of leaving some for our kids so they are not indebted. Like I had some of my loans for the college and all that, but we really want to make sure that they don't live they don't have any loans,
Yeah.
and we leave them some of our legacy.
Okay. And so and when it comes to real estate, you guys have two kind of different philosophies of what you do. First of all, you have buy and hold, where you buy a property, you hold it, you rent it out to tenants. And then secondly, you have a philosophy where you buy a property, maybe it's slightly distressed, you put some money into it and you flip it and sell it and make it a profit. It's interesting because most people take one or the other, but you're taking both. What's the strategy there?
So the strategy there is, I would say again, it depends on the numbers and depends on the area the house is in.
Mhm.
There are areas within DFW that have a lot of potential of future equity. For example, if I bought a house, for example, at $200,000,
Yeah.
but I know, with the numbers, with the history, with whatever knowledge I have and my husband has.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we would decide if in 5 years, if it's gonna double or more, or
Right.
be close to whatever our final goal is, we hold it, like we did with the Frisco house,
Okay.
11805 Rocky Point house. We purchased it at around, I would say, $210,000.
Okay.
And that was back in 2015.
Okay. You bought this house in 2015
Correct.
and
Yeah.
you bought it for $200,000 in Frisco. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
but it was in
Way
a
to
very bad
go.
condition.
Man, that's awesome. You guys are, I mean, that house has got to be worth way more than that now.
Yes, we just sold it in September this year.
Yeah. And so,
And
so you bought it for 210. What did you sell it for? Can I ask that?
sure, so we bought it at 210 and we sold it at 550. And in
Oh
the
my
meanwhile,
You doubled your money. And okay, so and you renovated it too, because wow, look how like light and bright and clean that white, that floor. Man, that is, you guys probably made this turnkey ready for some family to come in and buy it. And that's, how much did you have to put into it from a rehab standpoint?
so on this house, there were two separate renovations that we did. The first time when we bought it, we made it tenant ready because we wanted to hold it.
Yeah,
We didn't want to flip it right away.
right,
And remember, tenants are good most of the times, but we still cannot rely on them, for the upkeeping and maintenance of the house. So
right.
we made it move in ready for tenant at first. And
Yeah.
then in the beginning of this year, we decided to sell it. So we started some, more renovations, like, we updated, modernized everything in the
Right,
house,
right.
including the HVAC system.
Okay. And and clearly that is an incredible flip. Like you're coming out of that thing and you're gonna pay some capital gains, right? Because you bought it low and you're selling it high, but why not hold it? Why not just keep, what was this thing renting for?
The last time, I think in the beginning of the year, the tenant left at $3,200.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So students, like, be aware of this. So we live by what we call the 1% rule, where you need to be able to rent your property for 1% of the purchase price. So you bought it for 220. So in theory, you should be able to rent it for 2,200. You're renting it for 3,200. Oh my gosh. And it's continuing to go up. Why not just keep holding it? Like, why not hold it for 30 years and just, I mean, $3,200 in rent, that is amazing.
That was a very good cash flow. But the thing is that with this particular house, so most of our investments are from Carrollton down, all the way to South Lake. So this was the only one in the north side of the house, of
Okay.
the DFW area.
Yeah.
So that's the reason, we just wanted to be from Carrollton to South Lake for ease of commute for
Okay.
me.
So it's just a little bit tough. Is it a little bit out of your, okay. And so for me, I have a property management company and they manage all my properties, right? So I've got one in Rockwall, I've got one in Burleson, I've got three in Keller. And so really, like, they can manage all that for me, but you're managing these properties, which made it a little bit more difficult to try to manage a tenant and all the things that you have going on there. So you sell this property. Now, was there ever a thought of maybe like doing a 1031 where you sell this property in order to avoid capital gains and you put the proceeds into a like house or a bigger house? Is that something you thought about?
Yes, yes, that was the original idea. But with renovating, actually rehabbing the South Lake house,
Okay.
uh, we realized that we needed more funds on hand,
Okay.
because we decided to, upgrade the pool and the pool house as well.
Okay.
And yeah, yeah, we were kind of running out of funds for the South Lake house, so that's why we decided to have money on hand so we can quickly finish the project and move on to our next one.
Okay, and I'm clipping out. I didn't realize you had a YouTube video here for this as well. Let me clip to that here just a second. So buying in Southlake, that's an interesting place to invest. It's such a desirable, community that like, I would think that houses would go like, hotcakes there. Like you can't, like, how did you get a hold of a Southlake house at a deal? Like, what did you buy it for? What are you looking to put into the property? And how much do you anticipate the flip to be?
Sure. So as I mentioned, being a realtor helped me a lot.
Yeah.
One of my clients was actually interested in purchasing it, but at the end moment, they decided not to.
Okay.
Yeah, because of their loans were not going through. Keeping in mind there is like sewer system which is not connected to the city drain, so
Okay.
that also caused a lot of issues, and finally they gave up on the deal. So my
How
husband
is the Southlake
decided.
house? How is the Southlake house not connected to the sewer system? Like, where is the sewer going?
It was right there by the property. The city had already kept a sewer system there, but the owners decided not to get connected because they were happy with their septic system.
Septic system in Southlake. Wow, I never thought that would happen. Interesting. Okay, so your prospective buyers pull out of the property, don't like the septic system, don't like all of that. You jump in and say, we're going to take this property, we're going to buy it, and you see that there's a margin there. When did you buy this property?
We bought it in early 2022, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, but we did not start renovating it until I would say like September. Actually, August 22 was when we actually started working on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
because
bought,
there were so
how
many
much did you
other
buy
things
it for?
I was working on. I had to give hold. I have to put this one on hold.
Okay. How much did you buy it for? What are you potentially going to put into it? And what do you think you're going to sell it for?
So I bought it for 655 actually.
Oh, a
That
South
was
Lake
it.
house for 655. That is crazy.
It's
Okay.
on a 1 acre lot.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So 655. How much are you going to put in? What's going to be the rehab costs?
So far, I would say by the time we finish it, we would have put a good 400,000 down on it.
400,000 into rehab. Oh my goodness. And what do you
Cost
potentially?
has gone up. Our
Yeah.
costs have gone drastic.
Right.
Yeah,
What are you looking to sell it for?
easily 1.3, easily.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot that's going to go into this because you've got a pool and a backyard. I mean, it looks like it's a pretty nice lot and all that stuff too. And did you create this video? Like, is this you? Did you make this?
So I and my husband, I and our contractor,
Yeah.
we sat down and we gave them a vision like how we would want the house to be, because originally the master bedroom was upstairs. There
Right.
was nothing downstairs, just like an office.
Yeah.
So that's why we sat down with him and we told him what's the going popular plans that would sell fast for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, he helped us a lot. Originally this is like a brick house, and he suggested us to make it a stucco.
Okay.
So yes, there's a lot that we're putting in the house.
Yeah. So you're gonna, at the end of the day, probably net about 300 grand from this particular property, somewhere in that neighborhood, once it's all sold and everything. So, man, that's incredible. I mean, that's awesome that you guys are. I mean, wow, what a cool concept there. I mean, I'm so impressed. Okay, so my question to you then is like, you have the two rental properties in Carrollton, and they're not on this one, but I'm going to show the other house that you gave me as well. This one you sold just recently. You bought this house. It was on your street. You bought it, you sold it, and you made some money there too. And then you have this Louisville house that you
Yeah.
renovated and you sold it as well. What did you buy this for? How much did you sell it for?
So this one we purchased at 310 and it sold at 460, but we spent a good, I would say $50,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, you're netting some money there. Why not hold on to this? Louisville seems like it's in your backyard. It's Louisville is a great town for rental properties. Why not hold it?
Oh, we really wanted to hold it, but the house has a pool as well.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. No rentals with pools. That's yeah. Why is that a problem?
pool comes with, pools come with their own liability as well as maintenance.
Right.
So that's the reason.
Yeah, the neighborhood kid walks by and your tenant leaves the gate open and the kid falls in and drowns. You're held liable for that. And also the pool is like I had a rental property once with a pool, and I went over there to check on them to see how they were doing. And man, that pool was as green as it looked like a swamp that nobody'd want to get near it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And my wife and I realized at that point, no more rental properties with pools unless we have like we say your rent's going to be 1,700 and we're going to include a $200 pool maintenance fee in there, and we're going to have professionals going in there all the time. But even still, like you said, the liability is just not worth it. So you have your two properties in Carrollton that you're holding right now. So why real estate? Why not say, you know what, we got this extra money, we're going to go buy as many mutual funds as we can find. We're going to go buy things that are more of a securities basis as opposed to real estate. Why do you guys like real estate so much?
So with real estate, the thing is that personally, I know more about real estate, and I'm trying to put the money where my mouth is, first of all. And another thing is that with real estate, like if something is like if I have 5 homes and one of them is not really doing good and I need money to invest somewhere else, it's not that I'm going to be selling all 5 of my investment homes. I would just sell that one particular unit, have the quick money, and move further without, giving any penalties or paying fees or anything.
Right.
And again, being a realtor, whenever I sell, I earn commission, and when I say, when I sell, when I help purchase or purchase, I earn commission. And when I sell, I don't have to pay listing fees. So
Right, right. So you've got all of that, but what are the advantages of real estate? It's clear you know a lot about it, which is great. But why not take the safe, secure route and just go put your money in index funds, or why not go buy REITs? Like, why not go buy a real estate investment trust where you're going to get 6% dividend returns on $100,000 in there, whatever? Like, why not take the simpler route that is like zero hassle, don't have to fix toilets, don't have to deal with tenants not paying their rent on time. You don't have to deal with any of that. Why do real estate?
I would say, again, I would come back to the same point, that for the reason that I think my money is in my hands instead of somebody else investing it for me, and there may be some sort of a liability or something written in those contracts that would say, you know, yes, every investment it can be risky at a certain point, but I don't know the extent or the scope of risk with other investment channels.
Yeah.
So that's the reason, keeping my money in my hands, where I
Right.
can route it for my needs.
I'm so similar. I'm just kind of a control freak. I run my own sports camp business. I like to own my own real estate and make decisions myself. It's if there's a mistake, it's on me. I don't have to go blame somebody else. I don't have to get mad at a salesperson or whatever. It's on me. But one of the things that we talk about with our kids in class is, once in college, try to stay out of debt. I know student loans are super easy to get. Credit cards are coming at you in all directions. But let's say, for instance, my student, they graduate from college, they got their job, they've settled down, they've realized their job is going to be in Dallas or wherever it's going to be, right? At 22, if they have money set aside, should they buy their starter house, or should they wait a few years to, whatever?
No, they should buy one. I would go for that, and that's exactly what Mehek and Harsh have been instructed to
Right.
save as much as possible once they get their jobs. And that's the first thing they're gonna invest in, is
Fine.
at least one house for themselves right away.
Some financial experts say, you know what, buying a house is going to anchor you down and you want the flexibility to rent and all this kind of stuff. Why do you disagree with that?
Um, uh, Times have changed. Most of the jobs that people are into right now, what I've seen in the last 5 years is that more people are working from home.
Yeah.
And your job can be anywhere in the world, but
Right.
you have to have a stable ground where which you can call home. And things change. I'm not saying that the life is going to be consistent. Change is the most consistent thing that's going to be in your life.
Yeah.
But a home is always going to be, if you want to sell it, get it in an area sellable, and ask an expert to assist you with all those numbers, as well as location, and with all other details. There is experts available.
Yeah.
Get all those help, but invest in your first home as soon as possible. That would be my advice.
Well, Hina Ali, I am super impressed with what you guys are doing. Man, it's so awesome. Thanks so much for being part of our class. You are great. You're fantastic. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.